So what do you think about Donald Trump? Did you see about the kids and everything?
Oh, you know, the curious thing about being over here, well, perhaps it's just me, excuse me. Perhaps it's just me. I don't pay attention to the news, and all the news that is broadcast here in Switzerland, it's, let's see, it's fake news. So I don't pay attention.
Children have been separated from their parents after crossing the southern U.S. border, according to the Department of Homeland Security, as part of a new immigration strategy by the Trump administration that has prompted widespread outcry. On Wednesday, President Trump signed an executive order reversing his policy of separating families and replacing it with the policy of detaining entire families together. But this is kind of an older one, I believe, but he's separating them basically. So as he's immigrating people, he's separating them from their families.
Okay. So from what I've gathered, President Trump, he's president or a representative for this U.S. corporation. And when we take a look at the position of the Homeland Security, what do we know about them? Or
not much.
Well, we could take a look at who's the head. So it's like, who's the head of the Homeland Security? Okay, let me see about. The Department of Homeland Security has a vital mission to secure the nation from the many threats we face. Okay. This requires the dedication of more than 240,000 employees in jobs that range from aviation and border security to emergency response, from cybersecurity analysis to chemical facility inspector. Our duties are wide-ranging, and our goal is our goal is clear: keeping America safe. So what I've noticed when I go through websites for the Department of Homeland Security, that's part of the United States of America. And it might be a coincidence that I don't have the inside information, and a lot of websites have changed their information, and that's the curious thing as we go through these transitions. And then when I go down to the bottom of their page, I can see last published date, September 27th, 2017. And these are important details to look at, considering this is the official website of the Department of Homeland Security. It's in the details that, as I'm speaking, one can't really see. One can't really see the capitalization of these words and the way it's written here. And just that it was updated September 27th. Okay, that's a key. September 27th, 2017. What's so significant about that date?
September 27th?
2017.
9/27/2017. I'm not sure.
Well, right. So the main thing is that it's before the end of the fiscal year. Yeah, it would be before the end of the fiscal year for the United States of America, for the corporation. And I believe what Trump is doing, his name is actually being used for good and for bad, right? His intentions are one way, but here we can see that the Department of Homeland Security is basically using that name. And we don't even see, or we can't see, because as we read a letter that's been written, or read an article that's been written by, what's the source of the letter you found?
Let's see, I'll pull it back up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Regardless of the source.
No, I mean, it was actually just, I asked you because it's something that a lot of people have been recently talking about. Like, a lot of people are mad at him right now. Like, you know how they go on Facebook and then it becomes a big thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so this just happened like today. Like, a lot of people were on there 12 hours ago. Let's see, this is the new one from New York Daily News.
Okay.
This was posted 12 hours ago.
Okay.
The Trump administration has not figured out a way to reunite families separated by a new zero-tolerance policy enacted this year that's resulted in more than 2,000 kids being taken from their parents. That's raised concern about what will happen to them in the long, and how long it will take to reunite their families.
Okay. That's a lot of information there, just because of which state is that newspaper from, or that publication from?
New York Daily News.
Yep, right there, New York. We just have to look for where are the sanctuary states, and what is it? It's Manhattan Island. That is where the UN of New York is located, and that happens to actually be New Amsterdam. So it's Dutch. What does that tell you? It is crazy. And that it was posted 12 hours ago. Okay, that verifies, number one, New York is still part of this cabal. That's the name of the reporting source, or I should say that's the category I would place the reporting source. It's not an all-cap name that this publication is using for Donald Trump, is it?
For Donald Trump himself?
For this, in this publication. So when I look at stories, yeah, I'm looking actually for details like this, like who's the reporting state. And
Karen Cole, Los Angeles Times, TNS.
So Los Angeles, what do we know about Los Angeles? It's in California, and they operate in the fiction. Yeah, California is trying to also pull away from the US with their Cal exit. And oh my gosh, California, so there are so many underground bases. And that was actually in a report that's on my YouTube blog feed. And so there's all these little details that I would just need the name of the newspaper, the date, take a look at the website, and see that it was done before the end of the fiscal year, not updated since then. It appears that the Department of Homeland Security is still operating under or on behalf of the cabal, the globalists. So now, what do now I can speak a little more clearly about this this statement that's being reported, and on what would be Donald Trump's actions. First of all, I'd say that's not his actions.
Oh yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
of course
yeah.
not.
So it just takes a little bit of critical thinking, and I need enough hints. And so my not reading that article, my not being up on US politics, I'm taking it from what I'm gathering here from Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that satisfies the question.
No, that's perfect. You know, that's perfect. I just want to know where you stand at it, and that's fine. I'm the same way, and I am in America. So, you know, if it's not something that's really where I'm trying to focus as far as growing and getting better and helping people, I don't spend too much time on it. It's just been a big thing. So I was wondering if maybe you had any personal thoughts. So.
Well, on the spot, you saw me in a process, figure it out. That's what I do. And it's like, Shana, can you just make your point? How do you feel? Good or bad? No. Neutrality is what I've learned here in Switzerland.
Figure out why, you know, not good or bad, but let's figure out what's really going on. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Then I'll let you know if I feel good or bad about it.
Yes.
But I mean, well, something like that. I mean, it's not like no one feels good about people getting taken away from their kids. You know what I mean? But
right.
But you know what I mean. You know, we figure out the details like as we go. You know.
Mm-hmm. So why would such an article be published? It's because it's there. It would be the eve of summer solstice, 12 hours ago. However, here at Switzerland, it's 8:39, the 21st of June, and Pope Francis, or I should say, Pope Francis, he's here in Geneva.
Really?
And we also have, it's the 38th UN Human Rights Council is also in session until the end of until July, the first week of July. So typically in Switzerland, the weather is so cold whenever the UN is in session. It's like, why is it so cold? Oh, that's right, the Dracos can't stand the heat. So Pope Francis must be enjoying the heat here because it's a fairly warm day. I don't even know. You got to keep track of Swiss weather because then you can see what's moving around.
Got you. So what temperature is it out there right now? It's what, 7 a.m. About to be 8 a.m. right now?
It's going on 9 a.m. So it's 8:40 right now. Mm-hmm.
Okay, 8:40. Okay. Wow. 8:40 a.m. You said it's hot out there. It's hot and sunny right now. I mean, you know, during the day.
It's with summer solstice, it is the longest day of the year.
Yeah.
And let me check the weather for, let's say for Geneva. It doesn't matter where it is that I am. Geneva weather. Okay, it's it would help if it were in. So it's 23 degrees Celsius. This is time consuming to have to convert the weather from Celsius to...
Yeah, it's no problem. I'll convert it and I'll post it later. I'll do
okay.
What time did you say? 20 what?
It is 23 degrees Celsius.
I'll add that right there at the bottom somewhere. And I'll do the conversion for us, you know. But so another thing I know you have interest in, and you can pretty much go wherever you want to go with it, is the birth certificates and like nationality. You know, I know that's something you spend a lot of time going into. Is there anything specific you would like to start off with there, and we can kind of just go from there?
Okay. Yes. Well, I can speak about my own process because that's what my YouTube channel is basically covering my process with the.
You want to state your YouTube channel real quick, your name of your channel and everything?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
All right, we'll get it later.
Thanks. So, yeah, because I've been changing my name around, and let's see. I have I'll just mention it then. It's tru luv.
Okay. I'll add that in there also. I'll add it in the description as well so they can find you.
Okay, well, if you send me a link, then I'll just do my little bit of notes in there, and that may help navigate. Let's see. So let me go to my my playlist, because I created this one following. Excuse me, not following, but certain topics that I'm following, and that's following with interest. But with the birth certificate, it really, when I first learned about it, it was back in August of 2015. And a contact of mine, she was visiting Geneva, and I went down and I met her, and she said, "I have to tell you something, okay? You're not going to believe this." It's the birth certificate, and ... And I was just, and ever since that day, late in August, I've just been on the computer. You know how the Matrix,
the rabbit hole?
Yeah, yeah.
Follow the white rabbit.
Follow the white rabbit, but no, that would be the first one. It's doing that search, and those long hours on the computer, that's Tank just sort of programming Neo as he's in training, right?
Yeah. You got to play all the characters yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's the perfect trilogy, I would say. It's the perfect trilogy for explaining what in the world is happening, what we're all going through. And learning about the birth certificate trust, it's a rites of passage. Once one learns about it, one can't really go back, or can they? Because my biggest challenge is
same after you.
no.
After you've been opened up to it, it's just changes your whole view of the whole world, really.
It does. It's and do you know where the answers come from then? Or when you're asked a question, do you know where where the answer can be found? Especially when
I would say from within, from the source, you know, that's how I feel, you know, from yourself going in, you know, and because your journey is what brings the questions, like, you know what I mean, whatever path you're reaching on, that's what keeps bringing the questions. There goes the 10 minute.
Oh,
But,
okay,
so we got 10 minutes. We still got 10 minutes though. But yeah, whatever journey you're on, you know, that's what's going to keep enlightening you, you know, and you have to be able to look in that mirror and see within yourself, you know, and see where you want to go. And that also brings in the answers to the questions you have, you know what I mean? So that's how I feel.
I would say you're correct on that. And this is when one is asking questions of him or herself. But when a question is asked from a public agency like the Homeland Security or a police officer on the street, those answers, we've had so much conditioning to behave like a slave. And the answer, yes, when the answer is asked by, I want to say a US corporation officer, it's to take what you know, take what one knows, turn it 180 degrees, and that's going to be the correct response.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because this kind of goes back to, what is it? Pirates of the Caribbean. The only way those characters on the ship could find the answers or get out of escape, it was to flip the ship over. They had to work together and push that ship so it would go upside down. Mm-hmm. And as they were all in the water, they didn't drown. It was, and that's when they saw the truth. So I want to say thank you for enabling me to share all the little Hollywood bits, and everybody knows about that, of course, but it perfectly illustrates the answers, where they can be found, why things are the way they are.
Yeah. Nice.
And
thank you for, for coming with the nice answers, the nice visual picture to make us, visualize what we're trying to talk about,
I hear you. It's not for everybody, because like I've said, my partner supports me just by working the full-time job. And it is rough. It's so rough here in Switzerland. There is no leeway. And I worked a total of 1 day here in Switzerland as a volunteer. And gosh, what they do is, first of all, there's punctuality. It's good to come early, because when you're early, then you're on time. Mm. And what they have you do, this was a bottling company. They're a startup, so they're making this nice ginger sodas, and they're on Facebook, and they put who would like to come and help today? And I just happened to be there, first one in on the Facebook to reply, hi, I'd like to come. But little did I know how they were going to rip and tear me open just for this free. It's like, I was expecting more people to come and help. But no, you're the first one. It's just you. We're going to kill you. But I'm just here to volunteer. We're going to buy you lunch. Then you can go. So it was pretty brutal. And to have a job in Switzerland, it's the same thing. My neighbor upstairs, she's Hungarian. And she does something that would be the equivalent to Amazon. So she's filling orders for a mail order distributor. And she's having so many health complications, and I'm sure she's my age, but it's because of the toxic work environment she's working in with a warehouse. And since I've moved here 4 years ago, she just looks like she's aged, like, I don't know, 5, 10 years, 8 years. It's really bad, because that is the work life of someone who's working here in Switzerland who happens not to be Swiss. And the Swiss have superior genetics, and it's visible with what I see in my partner. Mm-hmm. And just as an example, he's about 10 years older than I am, roughly. And he was sitting on a chair. He doesn't wear glasses. He only needs it for driving. And he's looking on the floor, and I'm over here at the workroom, and he's talking, and he's watching something down on the floor. And because I'm working, he asked me a question, and I get up and I go over, and then he says, whoa, watch out, you almost stepped on it. I said, step on what? What am I almost step on? And he's watching an ant that's like 3 meters away from him. It's like, you can see this far? You can see the ant from over there that I almost stepped on? And it's not like one of those giant black ants. It's just a regular little innocent ant. Watch out, you're going to step on that. So that's one of the things. And I'm doing life water therapy, and I took a sample of his, and I did I took a sample of his water, and I did an eye wash, because there are stem cells in the life water. And I did it 2 times because my eyes were itchy. And the thing is, the second time I did it, and I started blinking, I lubricated my own eyes. Oh my gosh, I'm in the bathroom, and I did this, and I'm looking at the shower curtain, and I'm seeing the fiber weave on the shower curtain.
Oh, yeah.
one can repair one's own eyes if they have someone else's life water who happens to have 20/10 vision. I say, oh my, yeah.
Yeah, that was some of the things, because I was going through some of your videos. Just a couple more things I want to ask you about. We only got 2 minutes left on this one, so we'll bring it up on the next one.
Okay.
But you know that I do want to go into some of like your self-healing. I was looking at some of the, see, I wrote the name down.
Is it the self-healing meridians? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched that video, and yeah, a couple things, couple more things I want to ask you. So yeah.
Okay, great. I'll do that. I'll see you a bit then. Okay.
All right. Thanks again. I really appreciate it.
Oh, not at all.
You have some great information, so I definitely want to share that with some more people, you know, so.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. I'll let you go then.
All right.
Okay.
Yo, what up, fam? It's the boy Kali.
That's why we're here talking about it. It's not the actual physical money, because the money don't mean shit.
All right, you gonna get out?
No, I'm not.
Wait, so you're not getting out of the car?
Do I have to? What was your name for the record?
Deputy. Okay. You got a license on
It's
there?
not my belief.
Deputy.
Tacos today, tacos tomorrow, taco every day. Hey,
Either you with it or you not. This shit about to change everything.
You can't use dollar bills no more. You can't use no paper currency.
I don't think he's an idiot.
Niggas is still talking about slavery.
He's lost his fucking mind.
Us as a people, we're mentally trained to be crabs in a bucket.
Culture people, or people with culture, their culture comes first.
Life is awesome, man. I'm fucking ecstatic, bro.
But I tell you what, he's opened a lot of people's mind, like making people do a little more research than they already have.